would like to give you a few words about why I wrote this book and how I did the writing. When I first came into Kolkata, it was in 2008, I was already familiar with India. But I used to come to India only to, not only, but I used to go to India to practice yoga and to meet those wizards called yogi, and then I went to school and came back to India to study what yoga was about. And then after a dozen trips to India, short trips, I decided to try and meet people of my kind. I mean, middle-class people, university educated, having political opinions on what was going on in the world. And so I went to Calcutta, I followed some threads, and I met people. And it was, as said, in 2008, and I bumped into a big kind of political event going on in Calcutta. And this big political event was related with what they call land grabbing. That is two stories of land grabbing was going on in Bengal, in West Bengal. One of those stories was about a big Indian family, wealthy, very cultivated, very open-minded Indian family called the Tatars. The Tatars are Parsis. They are from Bombay. They speak many languages. They know the world, and they had a project of building a factory for very small, cheap cars for all Indians to have the cars. And the good location for this, the big factory, which was supposed to build the car, was in West Bengal, close to Calcutta. Actually, halfway between Calcutta on the shore, on the ocean, where the cheap cars were supposed to be shipped to East Asia, where they were supposed to be sold. Actually, 60% of the sales were supposed to be directed to East Asia. And it was going to be a huge factory involving 8,000 workers, and maybe 8,000 more workers being on different small industries serving this big car factory. That's a lot of people working. And then several 100,000 of people, villagers, were supposed to be expelled from the land to have the big factory implemented in this spot. And this project came out quite easily. Actually, it was conducted by the then communist government in charge of West Bengal, and it was a kind of a problem because it was the land where it was supposed to be set on was a very fertile land. It was not monocrop. It was 3 crops of rice and about 10 crops of different other cultivations on very small parcel of land. Each parcel about 3 to 5 acres, making the living of one family. So it was a problem for many people. And the reaction of the middle class in India, in Bengal, especially in Kolkata, was a reaction of contempt. People were not very happy about this, and they were starting to discuss about this. This was in 2006, and then in the following year, another big land grabbing was going to happen in the same Western Bengal. That was in another part of Bengal. It was not fertile land, it was quite dry land, it was saline land, it was monocrop, and the people were very defenseless. Most of them were very poor farmers and having nobody to side them and to take their side. And the group was having an industrial project was quite unknown. It was called Salim Group, and there was an idea that this group was projecting to implement a chemical factory in the name of Union Carbide. Union Carbide is the big chemical factory which is responsible for the what is considered in India a kind of genocide. And so an emotion started to grow in Bengal and especially in Kolkata, and that's where this emotion met what they call in Bengal adas. Adas is fed by coffee, and adas it can be translated as discussion or as gossip or debate, and adas meet people who can discuss for hours and weeks and months about the same topic, and trying to sort out what can come out of the topic. The favorite subject of adas are cooking, poetry, and revolution. I didn't say politics, not their favorite cooking or gastronomy, poetry and revolution. And revolution was going on in Bengal. And so I arrived when this revolution was going on, and people were starting to react against this, those both land grabbings. I don't give you the details, but I was caught into the debates, and I was in Kolkata for only 3 weeks, and during those 3 weeks, I was brought from one ada to another, from one group of people to another, in a coffee house, in a private home, in a small room, on a rooftop, and people were talking and discussing, men, women, young, old, and many reviews were printed and so on. And I discovered that during those adas, fed by beer, coffee, samosas, and references to Frantz Fanon, to Appadurai, to Foucault, people were delivering many economical and political arguments, but also many feelings. And this book is based on the hypothesis that our thoughts are only the shades of our feelings. And the opinions were printed into reviews and books, and lines of books and reviews were published about those two events, those two big land grabbings. But I discovered that there was a lack of emotion. Emotion were not were discussed, but not printed. There was no books about those emotions, and I tried to capture those emotions, and that's what this book is about: emotions. And of course, it's my way of capturing the emotions. I came back to Bengal in 2010, then again in 2012, and then again in 2013. And for this time I didn't stay 3 weeks, but I stayed 3 months, and I interviewed many people. I interviewed farmers. I met tribal people, what they call Adivasis. That's people being Indians, but not Hindus, not Muslims, living on their own way of life, a very free, actually very open-minded way of life. I met poets of many kinds. I met economists. I met civil servants. I met who else did I meet? Well, lots of people. Maybe 100 people. I met those people in villages, in the cities, in the train, and I collected interviews, and then I discovered that something was missing, and I went into reading. I read the epics, and I read novels, and I read um, um, what I considered good scientific works, academic works on anthropology, sociology, economics. And then I read the newspaper, and I collected those different aspects of what I collected into a book, which is a kind of patchwork. It is a mosaic of different facets of different people delivering their visions of land, the visions, and the subtitle is a personal journey, because it's my journey. It's not another person would have made a different journey through the stories, ideas, and images of land and people in Bengal, in West Bengal, from Vedic times to Nandigram. Vedic times is the concept used by Indians to talk about very old times. Actually, it's very old times. To Nandigram, Nandigram is the second of those two land grabbings. And those different visions, ideas of land are collected in the book. And I will, do I have still 2 minutes to read the two pages? And the first page is about me, why I was interested in this book. I was almost 11 years old when I left Madagascar. I had spent the first 5 years of my life in the bush, a region of red laterite, where stiff houses of the same red earth stood erect on a wide area of red crust. Our house was overhung by huge blue rock, which had given its name to the locality, Ambatumanga. Scrub, bushes and tall trees like mango, flamboyant and eucalyptus scratched the ever clear sky for 10 months a year. Rain would fall in heavy curtains of tedious water for the residual 2 months, ravaging the soil into thick streams of mud, a moving matter running from nowhere down to the ocean. Then I had spent another 5 years in Tananarive, fortress of the thousand, where my parents enjoyed one of the beautiful houses of this princely town, a huge mansion of more than 60 rooms atop the city and above a yellow bamboo forest. For all those years, I walked almost always barefoot. When a young boy, I took my shoes off as soon as I came back from school. During vacations and on Sundays, we hiked through the wild, often without shoes. As a small boy, I had an almost permanent skin contact with the laterite dust. Feet and hands, mouth and eyes, my entire body was immersed in the multiple sensations offered by a surrounding where earth competed with vegetation and animal life, only to win the challenges of senses. Patches of scarce burned grass, mysterious stone graves lost in the savannah, tall trees hardly rooted in the dry ground, flies and bees, birds high above my head, zebu cows openly grazing the meager share.